This is brought to you by Propel, the drink of champions. Now, we are here today in Salem. The wind's about 14 miles coming from the northeast. Crowd is quite in anticipation.
Yes, today we have John Proctor, accused of witchcraft, up on the gallows. We also have Rebecca Nurse there as well. She too is accused of witchcraft. How's John Proctor looking up there today, Shetland?
Well, he's not looking too great today, Steve. I heard reports from our field reporter, Jack Smithfield, that Mr. Proctor today got in a shouting match with the Deputy Governor of Danforth before he got marched off to the gallows.
And I believe that Jack actually got an interview with both Mr. Proctor and Mr. Danforth, so let's see what they had to say.
Thank you, Florence. I'm sitting here with Mr. John Proctor now, who was recently involved in a scuffle with Mr. Danforth. Proctor, could you tell us what happened down there?
Well, earlier my conscience was telling me to confess to this witchcraft charge, and I was going to, but Mr. Danforth brought forth Goody Nurse, and this confession to be posted on the church. Danforth then started asking me all these questions about if I knew Goody Nurse or anyone else involved in witchcraft for that matter, and I repeatedly denied. But thankful for me, Reverend Parrish told me to sign the confession anyway. I signed it, but I did not want this confession to be posted on the front door of the church, and I was very adamant about that. Ultimately, Mr. Danforth got a little edgy with me, and I eventually decided to accept my fate.
What led up to the decision, Proctor?
I believe I was doing what was right. I'm also in a lot of distress. Most of my good friends' wives have died on these gallows, and today my wife Elizabeth told me that Giles Corey had been killed by pressing. A brave man he was. I believe I made the right choice. It was not an easy choice, but the right choice is never easy to make.
Well, I thank you for your time and good luck in the gallows today. And now we will move on to our next interview with Mr. Danforth. Alright, Mr. Danforth, same question to you. What happened back there?
Well, Judge Halston came up to me and said that Proctor was going to confess. I was really happy because it is one less person that gets killed if they confess. So I went to where Proctor was being held. I had also brought along Rebecca Nurse so she could see this as an example of being freed. Proctor was ready to sign the confession, so I had Mr. Cheever go and fetch the document. And I went through the routine questions, but as I went along, Mr. Proctor seemed to get more and more aggressive with his answers. Finally, Reverend Parrish broke us up, and I got Proctor to sign the confession. But he felt that confessing to us was enough. I urged him to give me the document so I could post it on the church wall, but he refused and ripped it up.
So you're a little confused then?
Yes, he was set to go free, and in the end, he wants to be dead. Will I feel any remorse for doing this, though? Maybe. Maybe not. But this was his choice that he made.
Mr. Danforth, I thank you for your time.
It is a pleasure talking to you, Jack.
Back to you, Shetland.
I believe that Jack got an interview with Goody Nurse. Let's go to him now.
Thanks, Florence. I'm here now with Goody Nurse. Goody, what do you think about that Danforth-Proctor scuffle that occurred earlier?
Well, I was brought into where he was being held by Danforth and his men, and they told me that Proctor was going to sign the confession, and that if I wanted to live, I would have to sign that confession too. I couldn't believe that John was going to do that. But then he started questioning Danforth as to why he should name other conspirators, namely me. He signed a confession, but got into an argument with Danforth as to why I needed to be put on the door of the church when confessing it to him was enough, and then John ripped it up, and here we are.
Is there any reason why you aren't confessing?
I believe I'm doing what I feel is right, Jack. He'll try to persuade me, and while I agree with him mostly, I just don't feel confessing would be right.
You're often regarded as one of the wisest women in Salem. Are you sure you are doing what you think is right?
Absolutely, because when I die, I know where I'm going.
Alright, it's Goody Nurse. Back to you, Shetland.
Well, it's almost that time that everyone has been looking forward to. The most anticipated witch hanging of the year.
That's right, Shetland, and be sure to stick around for our post-hanging show for the complete... Hold on. I'm just getting the news from the higher-ups at Fox that our show has been canceled.
Are you kidding me, Florence?
No, apparently the Nielsen ratings are at a new low, and we've been widely panned by the critics.
Well, what are they replacing us with?
Some new soap opera, which has something to do with Scarlet Letters. I don't know. Well, folks, it looks like me, Shetland, and the rest of the crew are now out of a job. Hopefully, we'll all get jobs as anchors on HGN.
Well, I'm done. I'm not going to get a job on HGN. I refuse.
This is Florence Sutherland signing off for the final time in the show. I hope to see you from the wonderful wide world of home gardens. Till then, stay classy, America.